Alright, so you want to be a real game hoarder, huh? And you gotta get you a fat boy like this! Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. You want to get started in the hobby in 2025. You want to collect retro games in 2025. Well, let me tell you, the PlayStation 3, the fat boy that you just saw, is the best way to go. I have two of them, and let me tell you, if I was to start collecting right now, that's exactly the machine that I would go with. Now, you could be a person that, you just want to play one or two games from your youth. This is not for you, right? If you're a person that doesn't have any space, go get an emulation machine. That'd be better for you. But if you want to get started in the hobby, right? If you want to have these type of shelves in your house, right? These hold about 650 on average, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, right? And I rotate about 1,800 games, guys, in this room, which actually has, this is where I do my work, this is where I meditate. It's just my little area of the house where, I'm able to work, meditate, just have some time alone. This is it. This is how I do it. And let me tell you, it's great, especially these times where a lot of you out there might be going through some things, especially gamers with the whole space, all the drama that we've been talking about with, the gentleman from the Game Chasers just passed away, IRP to him, and we have Charlie Kirk, and some people might be feeling depressed. Maybe they want to get back into the hobby. This is how I've dealt, over the years, whether it's depression, addiction, heartbreak, like Ocho Cinco said, I got my PlayStation, right? And this is what I want to tell you. PlayStation 3, it really is the machine to go if you want to have a large collection. Now, everybody's tastes are different, right? But if your goal is to have a lot of games, then the perfect console, in my opinion, okay, I'm not the owner of the truth, right? But as a game hoarder, right, as a game that keeps 1,800 games on rotation, so make sure I can play them all, for a guy that has games in storage on top of that, and they've been collecting over the years, let me tell you, I've gained some experience, right? But if I was to start the hobby right now, I would definitely go with a PlayStation 3. Why would I do that? Well, it's the only console that spans 3 generations, right? And if you want to be a purist, if you just want to play the games as they were meant to be played, if you want to have the cases there, the manuals, all that stuff, and you enjoy the feeling of opening your game, putting it in the machine, playing, not having to worry about DLC, you don't have to be connected to the internet or any of that, here you go. It's the PlayStation 3. Why do I say that? Because if you look at the collection, you're talking about 20,000 games, guys, and if you want to get more detail, as far as the specs on every generation, I'm going to put a link down in my Substack. That's where I write all this stuff down. I wrote this article, late last night. I put it up today because I was thinking about it. Because somebody asked me, what would be the first console you would buy if you started collecting today? Now, financially wise, guys, the prices of games are always rotating, but you always see CD-based games out there. Those are the ones. Disc-based games are the most that are abundant. Of course, right now you're going to see a lot of Xbox and stuff like that. But if you're talking about retro games where you span the range of prices anywhere from $5 to $1,000, it doesn't get better than having a PlayStation 3 and I mean the old school one, that's able to play all 3 systems. And you can play old school RPGs, you can play action RPGs from the PlayStation 2 in that era, still great games, and you don't need any adapters or anything. This is HDMI, can go straight to your TV, and of course you can play the more modern PlayStation 3 era games, which is from the 7th generation, which is, to me, still, right, a lot better than any other generation so far as content, as far as the writing in the games, as far as storylines. A lot of the DNA of the games that we play today come from this era, right? Pre-microtransaction, pre all the crap. There's other systems out there that you can buy. But for the most part, if you go onto Marketplace, if you go to conventions, right? If you're trading games out there, let me tell you, this is something that you can get started with, and right away you can build yourself at least a wall, right? And the biggest expense that you're going to have at the beginning is actually buying the console. You can go on eBay and find them for $150 or less, sometimes more, depending what the condition of them are, right? And if you want to get them on it, go ahead and get them on it, but then, you know, it kind of takes away from the authenticity, right? I'm talking to the original collector. Like, if you want to go back in the day, you know, a lot of my viewers are younger. A lot of my viewers grew up with the 7th generation, as opposed to me that I grew up with the Atari, right? They don't have 6 grandkids like I do. So, you know, and it was a great period of time to grow up in. Let me tell you, my son started with a PlayStation. That is his console, right? Whenever I give him something special, you know, commemorative game, a collector's edition, it's always from the PlayStation 1 era, because that's what he likes. That's what he remembers fondly. However, guys, it's not only about the nostalgia, it's also about the convenience, because what happens when you start collecting, if you collect something that's really hard, let's say you started with a Sega Saturn, that's not the greatest console to start off with, because, you know, the games are really expensive, there's not that many out there, and it's just going to be harder for you to collect. You're going to end up modding it so you can play, you know, whatever games are out there, because, you know, it just, everything's, you know, $200, $300, it's nuts, right? You can go cartridge based, but then you're going to be limited to that particular console. You can buy something like the Retron 5, play multiple cards, but then you're not playing an original hardware. With a PlayStation 3, right, you can get all the games from all those eras and play it in one console, and build a library, you know, that is pretty extensive, that ranges from action games, from RPGs, you know, all kinds of things. Whatever you can think of, you can play. I mean, you're going to have about 20,000 titles to choose from. And that makes it easier when you go shopping. That makes it easier when you go to conventions. That makes it easier when you go trade. Are there very expensive games in all 3 phases of the PlayStation? Of course there are. But there are many, many great games at good prices, $20, $15, $10, $5, you know, I mean, they're out there. They're out there to be found, right? There's deals out there to be found. And if you get stuck, you know, buying expensive games at the very beginning, then you're not going to enjoy the hobby. You're just not. If you want to have a large collection, right, and put it together in a, you know, fairly fast amount of time, doesn't mean you're going to get every game for every generation, right? But if you want to build a collection, if you want to build a wall, you know, 650 games, great. You want to build a couple of walls, 1,200 games, that's doable, right? That's doable. Is it going to take you a week? No. You know, but you'll be able, you know, whenever you get paid, whenever you get a little bit extra, you got $50 here, man, with $50 you can get some great deals, let me tell you. You can. And what the PlayStation 3 provides is a point of entry into a retro collection where you have a budget not only to buy the console at a reasonable price, but you can also buy good games at reasonable prices, and that'll keep you engaged with the hobby. You'll have something to talk about every week. You'll be discovering different types of genres, right? There's so many games that I bought, you know, not knowing that I was going to like them until I liked them. I wasn't an RPG guy. Let me tell you, when I was growing up, to me it was action I didn't even like Zelda. Right? I hated all RPGs. I thought they were boring, yada, 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 until I started playing them. And I started playing them because I collect them. You know, many when I started just buying a bunch of games. Back then, they were really cheap, right? But most of my collection, believe it or not, is under $5. Are you going to get that? No, you're not. You're not. Those times are gone, right? But you can still get games at a reasonable price. So for my money, if I had to start collecting in 2025, right now, PlayStation 3 or nothing. All right, humans, I'll put a link down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Support the channel in any way you can. If you want to see the band videos, then go ahead and join the channel. They're all archived up there. But thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for checking out my channel. And I will catch you on the next one hopefully I'll have another video tomorrow. Take care.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.